When we say that someone is fretful, we mean he or she is anxious, distressed, irritated, annoyed, catastrophizes, someone who always sees the worst in people, in situations, and predict the most abominable adverse outcomes. This is the fretful person. Now, many narcissists are fretful because pathological narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, is often comorbid, or there is a co-occurrence with anxiety disorders. This is especially true with communal, prosocial narcissists. These people, who are essentially narcissists, grandiose narcissists, these people pretend to worry about, for example, your health. They become pseudo-hypochondriacs. They somatize your symptoms. They surround you and circle you with advice, with reminders. You should take your pills, you should do this, you should do that. They worry about your finances. They're very protective. They're all over you. They're busybodies. They're nosy. And all of this is for your own good, of course. This is the fretful narcissist. The fretful narcissist directs his anxiety, externalizes it, if you wish, projects it onto other people, especially within the space of the shared fantasy. And when the narcissist is prosocial and communal, the fretfulness will manifest as activism, social activism, victimhood activism, some type of activism. It's all about claiming to sustain the greater good, claiming to be emotionally and otherwise invested in the well-being of other people. That is the fretful narcissist. The other type of narcissist is the neglectful narcissist. It's a type of narcissist who abandons you, neglects you, ignores you. You might as well not exist. He sees right through you. You are transparent. Now, narcissists are delusional. They're self-deceiving. So both the fretful narcissist and the neglectful narcissist perceive their behaviors as manifestations of love. The fretful narcissist would say, I'm worried about you. I'm concerned about your welfare and health. I just want to help. I'm here to protect you. The neglectful narcissist would say, I'm not jealous. I'm not intrusive. I'm not imposing. I'm not coercive. I'll let you live your life. I don't get involved in your affairs. Whatever you do is acceptable to me. Look how much freedom I'm giving you. Freedom that borders on anarchy and complete disinterest or lack of interest. And so the neglectful and the fretful narcissist perceive their behaviors as signs of love, as the only legitimate way to express love. If you love someone, you care about them. If you love someone, you give them freedom. These are the two narrative, self-justifying narratives of the fretful and the neglectful narcissist, respectively. But the partner of the narcissist does not perceive it the same way. The experience of the partner of the narcissist is very different. Whereas the fretful narcissist is all over the partner perceives it as control, as a form of coercion, control freakery. And the neglectful narcissist is perceived as abandoning and rejecting. And so the experience of the partner and the experience of the narcissist diverge. They're dichotomous. They're contradictory. They're mutually exclusive. They have nothing in common. And it is this lack of commonality, this absence of common ground or common denominator, that renders interpersonal relationships with narcissists highly antagonistic. Whereas the partner might protest, you're controlling me. The narcissist would answer, I'm only doing this for your own good. I'm only protecting you. I'm only making sure that you behave in the right way for your own welfare and well-being. And whereas a partner might complain, you never pay attention to me, you ignore me, you abandon me, you've abandoned me, you've rejected me, I feel at a loss. The neglectful narcissist would answer, but I'm giving you all the freedom. I'm not in your hair. I'm not controlling. I'm not jealous. You can do anything you want. And so there is a clash of narratives, which gives rise, of course, to adversity and conflict within the relationship. The truth is that both forms of behavior, the neglect and the fretfulness, the over-worrying, the being over-concerned, both forms are, both attitudes are forms of passive aggression. The narcissist, especially the covert narcissist, expresses his aggression or her aggression by becoming passive, by withdrawing on the one hand, or by domineering and mastering and overpowering and overtaking and subsuming the partner on the other hand. These are two forms of passive aggression. Whereas the fretful narcissist is more commonly a communal prosocial narcissist, the neglectful narcissist is more commonly a covert narcissist. And so these are forms of passive aggression. One of the reasons narcissists cannot find a middle ground, one of the reasons they display this approach avoidance pendulum, is because their emotions, including negative affects, are highly diffuse. They're roving emotions. They're emotions looking for a pretext, looking for a reason. The narcissist experiences anger. He labels it as anger, whatever it is that's happening inside, the affective landscape. The narcissist says, I'm probably angry. And then he looks for a reason to be angry. The narcissist experiences anxiety. He labels it, identifies it as anxiety, and then he asks himself, why am I anxious? So there are these diffuse, generalized affects, kind of cloud emotionality that the narcissist, that suffuses the narcissist. The narcissist is immersed in it, and he's looking for an explanation, an interpretation, some meaning to attach to these emotions. Generally, the narcissist, of course, is entitled. So, for example, he believes himself to be entitled to justice, to equal treatment or superior treatment, actually. And when the narcissist does not get what he considers to be justice, what she considers to be superior treatment, the narcissist gets angry, frustrated, and the frustration is converted to aggression, the Dollard hypothesis of 1939. So the sequence is this: a diffuse, all-permeating, all-pervasive sense of anger, coupled with anxiety, of course, because anger is a form of self-directed aggression sometimes, so there's a lot of anxiety attached to it. And then scouting or scanning the area, other people, circumstances, the environment, for reasons, justifications, and pretexts for the anger, which is, I remind you, diffuse, generalized. And then saying, I'm probably angry because I'm being mistreated. I'm being discriminated against. I'm being abused. There is a malevolent conspiracy against me. I'm being injured. I'm frustrated because things are not as they should be. The narcissist feels that he is entitled to justice. And denied justice, the narcissist becomes angry, and the anger is often expressed as a form of sabotage, passive aggression, domineering, controlling behaviors, and so on and so forth. Similarly, the narcissist feels entitled to safety, to stability, to predictability, because it gives him a sense of mastery, a sense of control. In the absence of safety, stability, predictability, and determinacy, the narcissist becomes frustrated, and this gives rise to anxiety. So the narcissist is on a constant quest to render himself comprehensible to himself first and foremost. What the hell is happening with me? He keeps asking. And then he creates a narrative. He generates a narrative on the fly. And you're supposed to fit into it. You're supposed to become a figment of this narrative. And the only way to secure this is to take control over you. And in the absence of control, to let go of you. Which are the two sides, the fretful versus the neglectful narcissist. This obsession with control is because narcissists are highly impulsive. They're not impulsive the same way a borderline is. A borderline is likely to decompensate and act out repeatedly. They're not impulsive the way a psychopath is. Psychopath transitions to violence or aggression on a dime. But there is a question of impulsivity in narcissism, especially in the more malignant forms, the more psychopathic forms. And so this lack of or compromised impulse control is very problematic. The narcissist is aware of it because the narcissist realizes that certain decisions and choices and actions he's taken in the past have led to adverse negative outcomes. And he knows that they involved impulse control problems. Impulse control in narcissism is compromised by negative affectivity, the narcissist's negative emotions. For example, his rage, his aggression, his envy, his hatred, his fear. All these negative emotions, they compromise the narcissist's ability to exert control, to exert mastery over his own executive functions. The narcissist feels ruled from the outside by his emotions. He externalizes the locus of control, even when it comes to his own affects, to his own emotions. Everything in narcissism, in pathological narcissism, everything seems to be coming from the outside. People, other people, the environment, they are responsible for the narcissist's decisions and choices, mishaps and misfortunes, defeats and failures, and successes. And so everything is coming from the outside. And the narcissist's emotions are triggered by outside forces. They are reactive as far as the narcissist is concerned. Someone provoked him. Someone made him angry. He hates people for good reason because they hate him. He is envious because he is being mistreated unjustly, and so on. So even the narcissist's emotions seems to be emanating from the outside, and he feels ruled by them, driven inexorably to act. This is known as external locus of control. Narcissists are used to being controlled from the outside as far as their self-narrative is involved. There is a conflict between the narcissist's self-concept, which is godlike, omnipotent, omniscient, genius, and the narcissist's self-narrative. I'm a plaything of malevolent, malicious, envious forces. And this conflict between self-concept and self-narrative gives rise to many inexplicable, inconsistent behaviors. All this harks back or has to do with the narcissist's childhood, of course. The narcissist's abusive parents or neglectful parents, the overbearing and all-pervasive and infinitely demanding false self, the only defense the narcissist has had against the traumatizing childhood environment, the adverse childhood circumstance. So what the narcissist does, he internalizes the bad parents. He becomes the bad parents. This is the essence of the false self. And the false self is demanding, harsh, all-pervasive, controlling. The false self is a deity, a divinity, to which the narcissist sacrifices his true self. There's human sacrifice there. And there is also addiction to narcissistic supply and to the sources of narcissistic supply, which are usually other people. Addiction, of course, is irresistible. It's inexorable. the narcissist feels downtrodden, trampled upon, controlled from the outside, automatic, robotic. And one way to rebel against this intolerable, burdensome, unbearable state is to externalize aggression, to indulge in negative emotions. In short, to hurt other people, to do to them what is being done to the narcissist, for example, to control them or to neglect them, to be fretful or to be neglectful. It's a projection of the narcissist's inner state. Narcissist feels more at home and more at ease with negative emotions. He finds them way more accessible to him or her than positive ones. Ironically, it is a narcissist who considers himself godlike and omnipotent, who is a slave to external circumstances and feedback from his human environment. He derives his very sense of being from his own impotence, not omnipotence. And so when narcissists try to somehow modify their environment, somehow control it, they know only of two ways. The two ways they have experienced as children. They either try to control from the bottom, control by worrying, control by being anxious, control by being inquisitive, control by surrounding the prey or the victim with questions and concerns and so on. That's the fretful narcissist. Or the other way is to neglect and abandon and reject and instrumentalize and parentify the partner. These are the two ways, the two pathways open to the narcissist. And most narcissists swing between the two. So you could have the same narcissist worried to death about you one week, protective of you, and this would be perceived by him as a sign, a signage of love, and the next week totally ignores you, can't be bothered with you, you're annoying and irritating him, and he's very rejecting. The same narcissist, one week after the other, approach and avoidance. But unlike the borderline, where the approach and avoidance are connected, they are a repetition compulsion, there's a narrative there, which has to do with the approach and avoidance. With a narcissist, the approach avoidance are totally internally generated, and they're disjointed, they're disconnected, there's no continuity, there's no unifying narrative. It's just the way the narcissist feels at the moment. And you just happen to be there. You're a prop, you're an object, you're an accident waiting to happen maybe. And so you're incidental to the narcissist. And any victim who tells herself that this is not true, that she has been chosen and is special, is self-aggrandizing. She is infected with narcissism because narcissism is contagious.